Episode 31, Part 2, Objections to the A+B Theorem. One of the first objections to be made against the theorem is that, as some of the B payments represent past A payments issued during previous stages of production, there is in fact enough consumer income in the system to offset the flow of costs. This objection overlooks the time factor. Those A payments were distributed and spent by their recipients at some previous point in the past, and, apart from some small amounts that might have been saved, are not available in the present to offset the costs that they generated when they were first distributed. As soon as they were spent on concurrent consumption needs, those wages, salaries, and dividends were cancelled as income. In this regard, it is vital to understand that $1 in income can, generally speaking, only liquidate $1 in costs. This is because money does not cycle indefinitely in the economy under the current financial system, but is either destroyed when spent, when it is used to pay down a bank loan or line of credit, or else it is used to replace working capital, in which case it will only ever be reissued as consumer incomes alongside an additional series of costs. At this stage, our objector might pivot and say, OK, but if production is kept in a steady state of self-repeating motion, additional income issued in advance of future production will be distributed by all stages of production in the present moment anyway, and so there will be no deficiency of corresponding consumer income as far as the flow of final or consumer prices is concerned. In other words, even if we grant that the A+B theorem is true, perhaps it is trivial. Even if the flow of total prices exceeds the flow of total incomes in the course of production, the only thing that matters is that the flow of present-time A payments from the various stages of production can make up or cover for past A payments that are now being represented by the B payments of the last firm in the line of production. It is indeed true that, under certain conditions, the rate of flow of incomes from all stages of production can equate to the concurrent rate of flow of final prices if production is being maintained in a steady state of self-repeating motion. Take, for example, a productive agency that relies solely on manual labour. In such a firm, all costs, apart from raw materials, would be labour costs. If we further assume that all raw materials are obtained for free, or that those who sell their raw materials treat the money they receive as income and spend it on personal consumption, it is certainly true that, in a steady state of self-repeating motion, A plus B can be greater than A at every stage of production without causing the flow of final prices to exceed the flow of concurrent incomes from all stages. But productive agencies in our economy do not rely solely on manual labour. They depend more and more on real capital, machines, tools, and computer equipment of various kinds for production. As soon as real capital is introduced into the equation, the staggered equilibrium that could be achieved in a hand labour economy, where all costs are labour costs, is permanently upset. Real capital has to be purchased, maintained, and replaced. The financial payments associated with real capital, capital loan repayments, depreciation, and maintenance reserves, etc., result in productive organizations charging more from the public than they simultaneously distribute to the public in the form of incomes. Amassing real capital requires an amassing of financial capital, and the latter can only be achieved by demanding more than one dispenses in terms of consumer buying power. That financial capital is then cancelled as purchasing power when it is used to pay down capital loans, is held in reserve, or is otherwise invested. The result is a structural imbalance between the flow of final prices and the flow of incomes, even when production from all stages is being maintained in a steady state of self-repeating motion. This animated series was sponsored by the Clifford Hugh Douglas Institute for the Study and Promotion of Social Credit. For more information on Douglas Social Credit, please visit socred.org. Be sure to like this video and please subscribe to our channel.